For the last few years, I've had a mystical and magical entity in my daily life called Crichton. The experience is truly mind-blowing. This is me trying to tell that story. Jenny, welcome back. It's lovely
Dan,
it's cold Tuesday where we are.
yes.
Um,
Look
that's
at
all
look
part
at
of the winter
me.
fun.
I've got my blanket.
Lovely. I'm about to light a fire, so I'm just there with
Yeah,
you.
your place looks cozy.
Thank you. You can get a bit chilly. There's lots of cracks in the walls with all that sort of stuff, but look,
Mhm.
that's all fun. Let's get to it. Today, what I want to talk about is two separate things in session with Crichton. And if you're just jumping into this and you missed the intro, the Crichton is a mystical entity in my life every day, and has been for the last 3.5 years. And it's really showing me what source energy is, and it's I'm getting source energy basically through my body every day in these meditation sessions, which is just lying on the lounge, and then this beautiful entity come in and just wipe me clean of just everything and just make me yeah, it's changed my life. And so I've been breaking these up into chunks, and today I want to talk about phantom limbs. Phantom limbs are really interesting. And then, still with my eyes closed, obviously in a session, a second after that, I want to talk about visions and what different things have been shown to me over the ages. But in a slight caveat, I was in a session the other day and I had this like mumbled words. Actually, two things to say here. One is I was in a session the other day, a different session, and what used to be something like, and all of a sudden this energy would sweep over me. The other day I heard a like it wasn't English. It was right next to my ear, and I was like, okay, well that's different. And then kind of waiting for the energy to sweep through, and it did. And so and yeah, so that happened. But also in a session the other day, um, uh, kind of audibly but internally audibly, I heard these words or sounds of words, and I was like, and so I kind of got up after the session, and I was like, what was that? So I went on to just like sounds like Google, sound, what could it be? And it was a Latin phrase. There was a Latin phrase. I forget what the words was. Like I went
Mhm.
back on to AI today to say, look, where was this information? It was Google AI, and it didn't have the information. So I was like, but it was a pretty common Latin phrase that was told to me in a session, which is really,
Mhm.
really different. And I wish I knew what those words were again, but they're gone for good. But that's okay. Until next time. So the second thing I want to talk about is visions, and yeah. So all of today's session is what you see, really. So I've I've briefed past before. I've spoken briefly about the so my hands are always when I'm on my lounge, kind of face down on my hips. Like they're always there. I've got them propped up, and it's a very comfortable position. And um, in a session, depending on the energy and the frequency of the session, um, so my hands are always separated about this much, and I know that's the case every time. But it's
Mhm.
really interesting sometimes, as they're on your hips, you can feel energy come through fine. Is sometimes it feels like that they're interlinked. Like you can feel the connection points of your fingers.
Mhm.
Um, and and so you're going, look, I know my hands are by my sides, or what is that? But then sometimes, because they're on my
Mhm.
hips, sometimes I can feel next to my body. Sometimes I can have one hand on my hip and the other hand next to it, and the other hand, and vice versa. Um, but sometimes they can be almost like a praying kind of connectivity point, like that.
Mhm.
But it's some kind of line they're analyzing kind of these sensations and these
Mhm.
feelings,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, such a beautiful, like, such a weird kind of sort of knowing where they are, but then a knowing that
Mhm.
they're now like this, or now like this, or
Mhm.
now like this, and it changes all the time. And even in one session, like you can have like depending on what's going on. And again, I haven't been able to link these, it's a case of, yeah, like all of a sudden my hand's here and one hand's over here and like, there's another hand here. And it's just, and it can change all
Mm.
in one session, which is fascinating. But then to take a step beyond from that, so that's what I feel. But then what I see is often are my hands, like we'll say that they're like, so my hands are here, but I can see almost light hands above my body, kind of just
Mm.
there sometimes. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if I can, like, should I, what if I pray now? And so I can do that. I can see my light
Mm.
hands are kind of joined
Mm.
together. And then lately as
Mm.
well, they've been kind of almost reaching for the sky. No, which has been fascinating. And so picture these kind of, light, like light white or whitish hands kind of reaching for the sky or kind of doing
Mm.
that or one doing something else. And again, they just remain on my hips. And it's completely just really interesting. Like,
Mm.
the other kind of aspect of phantom limbs, and I definitely have touched on this before, but I want to give it slightly more context. And that's with the feet, if it's working like with the pads of the feet, or if it's kind of massaging something out, or if it's even because my feet outside of micro twitches aren't moving, but all of a sudden I
Mm.
can feel my leg and see, but almost see my leg kind of almost be lifted like a physio would do, and kind of
Mm.
start to massage it out, and
Mm.
so so now my right leg's kind of elevated, and it's kind of
Mm.
being massaged up here, and almost like being placed back down. It's yeah, and so that can happen either leg, or
Mm.
the majority of it happens on the right leg. Um,
Maybe
but
you're starting to levitate, Dan.
or maybe like yeah, but as a previous story, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a sentence that is. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know, just like kind of really kind of simple
Mm.
visual and physical sensation cues that just make these experiences so much more interesting or
Mm.
different or magical or
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Um, do you have any questions about that? Like, these are going to be short topics today, but do you have any questions about that
No,
particular? No.
no, except the levitating thing came up, but yeah, apart from that. And it must be a bit confusing not knowing where your limbs are.
No, because I know they're always in the same space.
Yeah, but they don't feel like they do because they seem to be wandering through the air and
That's
doing all
it.
sorts
That's
of
just
things.
part of the. I mean, like I don't know where most of like in a session, I can't feel my body most of the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, because the energy is just buzzing through it, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
So you
at
lose that
today's
spatial
session,
awareness. You sort of lose a lot of spatial awareness.
you just become one with like like um you honestly just become one with it all, but then that can change in an instant. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
you've got this really high charge electrical current going underneath, like where your body's touching the lounge,
Mm.
and yeah, so you become so you're one with. All of a sudden, you've got this kind of almost um, coagulating a high charge, kind of just kind of
Mm.
pushing through, and it happens in today's session. It was a very not much was happening today. It was just like a lot of just contact point with the foot and the head going crazy over the energy.
Mm.
And I was in a deep trance. And yeah, towards the end, so say session was for an hour, then all the
Mm.
energy that had been built up because that kind of contact point on the foot, almost like a hand contact point, and just little pressures, and yeah, but then today it's towards the end, it just started to that high electrical charge at the bottom of my body just started to kind of go into the middle, um, to my hips and the kind of crotch area, and kind of started
Mm.
to kind of gather there for a while. But then I had to get up and do things. So
Mm.
sometimes there's just not enough time to see these through, to see where they're going to take you. But that's okay. I got up fully charged. The other side is the visions. Now,
Mm.
these don't happen every session. These happen most sessions, and they vary so much. So I'm going to start with This has been happening for the last 3 months, give or take. And it's almost like out of body experience, and where I find myself lying on a granite slab in an ancient temple somewhere. And I'm the only one there, and I'm just lying on this granite slab, almost like an altar, or like an altar, a
Mm,
sacrificing altar maybe, or like a place
mm,
where I used to sleep. I don't know. But I just find myself on this granite slab, and
mm,
then and then I'd kind of find myself kind of going, what if I just get off the slab and kind of start walking around the place? And so that's been really interesting to kind of experiment with that. And
mm,
then outside of that, I've been seeing a lot of probably the last 6 months or 9 to 6 months mainly. And that's seeing a lot of ancient temples and stairways to ancient temples and and no one in these sessions, no one else is there. It's just almost like I'm seeing it.
mm,
And yeah, the temples will vary. There's some commonalities there, and they're really hard to explain in this kind
mm,
of in this forum, or maybe without a pen and paper. I'm not sure. I've never tried to, but yeah, that's been really interesting over the last little bit
mm.
to kind of yeah. Now I find myself looking at ancient temples, and I don't know why.
Maybe you need to try and draw them.
I have been saying this for years. Like, if I could draw, the things that I would draw would be just mind blowing.
Mm,
Because one of the reasons I've been saying this for years is goes on to my next segue of visions, and that's faces, people, environments. So, and even before Crichton, in my early 20s, when I was getting my first round of kind of spiritual gift stuff, I could do it then, and I haven't been able to do it for years, but that shut my eyes. And I say I could do it, but that's probably the wrong wording. I've I could see like
mm,
a face, like a photo, someone that I've never met, and then that'll morph into another face, and then another face, and another face, and this could happen when
mm.
I'm falling asleep. This could happen in a session, but the
Yeah.
faces can be scary. And over the
Mm,
years, and not so much in sessions, but when I'm falling asleep and I see something scary, I've just kind of lent into saying the words "I love you," and no matter how
mm,
scary the face is, and then like it'll morph into another face and another face and another face, and I could see hundreds of faces in one session, like it,
mm,
and all different types of people. Like some people looking that way, some people looking forward, like I'm sharing
mm,
with a line of
mm,
vision with someone. Like, what are you looking at?
mm,
Um,
mm,
to um, men, women, children. Not so much children. Like it's more a mature aged.
mm,
Um, Kind of looking off into the distance or looking directly at me. And
mm,
so if they're looking directly at me, that's a lot more confronting, I guess, because all of a
mm,
sudden you can be looking at this angry man and like you're just
mm.
going, oh, like, I love you. Um, because like what else
Yeah.
could like, like, I think the theme in all
Yeah.
of this is just leaning into this and kind of seeing
I
what
can relate to the faces thing actually. That's happened to me a few times.
yeah, cool. Like it's because like now you can see like so many different types of people from
Mm,
all around the globe, from different
mm,
marks on faces to like
yeah.
and can I ask you on that when you've been in a session or when you've seen faces, is that in meditation? Is that how does that start for you?
Probably that I'm in bed before I go to sleep.
Okay, yep,
And it just feels like I'm walking on a footpath and just passing all these people. And
yeah,
like you, they've all got different faces,
yeah,
different and all doing different things and just routine things.
yeah.
Um, no one I recognize.
Interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing. Um, One there was one time, oh, let's say one time frame. I can't be
Mm,
very specific on it was a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but there's a period of time where instead of seeing faces, I was seeing these dramatic scenes of groups of people. It's like
mm,
black I was a camera in the crowd. Like so some examples
mm,
would be I'd be in a protest with signs, and people are angry, and people are kind of walking by, and I'm just kind of seeing these herds of people who are going to walk by,
Mm.
all with the same emotion. Or
Mm.
I'd be looking into a church pew or crowd or gathering, and I'll see
Mm.
people worship, and like all of these are very emotive. Like, so I'd
Mm.
be seeing. I was trying to think of other examples, but like just again and again and again, it's like I was a fly on the wall, or maybe
Mm.
remembering a previous something. I don't know,
Mm. Exactly. Mm.
but yeah. So instead of saying individual faces, it's been a case
Mm.
of just seeing these gatherings of people and the things that have brought them together is this emotion. And I can capture
Mm.
that emotion with what I'm seeing. And so they've been fascinating as well. And that's only happened for kind of very short periods of time.
Mm.
So like, yeah, like I said, 1 week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever that was. But, um,
Mm.
and again, not every time, I just if I'm in the
Mm.
right state of mind in a session or whatever, I'll start to see that.
Wow. Mm.
And not so much with faces, but and anyone like who's ever done kind of a magic mushrooms or other can probably testify to this. But and then seeing kind of kind of geometric shapes. Well, that's a big one as well
Okay.
sometimes.
Mm.
And and again, if I could draw some of the things that I could draw for the
Mm.
opportunity, would
Is it like sacred geometry type
I
thing?
believe so? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and and totally sober, all that sort of stuff. And
Mm.
so yeah, just where these sessions can take you sometimes is just it puts a smile
Mm.
on your face thinking about it, and it's completely baffling to know that I've
Mm.
normalized this over the time. But yeah, another day, another
Mm.
crazy spiritual insight, I guess.
Right.
And that, and that's all I really planned for today.
Okay. Mm.
But thank you for sharing your experience with the faces as well. So obviously, are not limited to me. And again, if you're listening to this and you do share or experience this, um, reach out if you feel inclined to. Only if you feel inclined to. And yeah, thank you again for your time today.
Okay. Thank you too. Very
Thank you.
interesting.
Stay warm, and we'll absolutely talk soon.
Absolutely. Bye. Love
Bye.
you.